Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. As today we have a best of 3 played between Zoun and ByuN. Zoun in the top right, ByuN in the bottom left, with his barracks slightly outside of his main base. Not the end of the world, of course. Everyone makes mistakes, ByuN, and you just misplaced that barracks, right? It's what, maybe 20, 25 hexes away from where it's supposed to be. Now, of course, it's a fake barracks with the double gas, or well, a fake barracks. It's a real barracks, but it's a fake proxy, is what we like to call that. Zoun could go and scout that, but could also not do that. No, he's gonna go and scout. Ooh, spotted that SCV. I actually think that Zoun was gonna run away if he hadn't seen that SCV. ByuN getting a little bit too eager there, sending that SCV back home. A little bit frustrating. And as a result, Zoun will not require any type of zealot out early. Zoun will not require to really do anything here. He can just play this game however he likes to play it. Whether it's going to be with a Twilight follow-up, a double gate, a triple gate, or a Stargate, which I believe to usually be the greatest thing that you can do against a double gas opener. It's just opening with a fast Stargate. It's so powerful. You get that map control with your Phoenixes or with your Oracles. You can kill Medevacs, which makes life very easy. You have quick scouting with that first Stargate unit as well. It's generally just a very good opener. So I'm a bit, I'd be surprised to not see it. And I actually think, yeah, there we go. We have the first Adept out already, battery going up in the main base, as well as a Stargate right now. Second Adept being pumped out of the gateway. Cool little start here for Zoun. I really do like this. I think this is favored for the Protoss player in this type of scenario, where the barracks got scouted, the Stargate gets built, and CC on the high ground also is a bit of a yikesy moment, in my opinion. Like, if you're already this far down in initial eco, and then having to build the CC on the high ground, building that blind Cyclone, is just not great. Reaper's not even going to get the scouting info that there is a Stargate being built. Now, I do believe that ByuN has an idea that it is Stargate, as he's playing, well, triple barracks with a single factory unit. This is a build that is not really supposed to hard counter Stargate, but it is quite good against Stargate. You have a lot of bio units, you're safe with the Cyclone. The main problem that I see here for ByuN is just the lack of money that he's going to be having. Right now he's already down 5-6 workers. He'll still need to build the orbital as well at this point. Orbital will take, well, about a worker and a half. He's actually going to fly it over first, then start the orbital command. First mule is going to be delayed, and the overall worker count is just going to be quite low. Reaper will fall before it sees anything. It will be, well, what is it, 2 gate with a Phoenix. Double Phoenix so far. No third Phoenix on the way yet, but of course always will still be a possibility. I love this scouting timing here out of Zoun. Seeing the triple barracks, and as a response he probably should throw down a robotics facility here rather than a Twilight Council. I'm not quite sure what his initial plan was, but if you scout, yeah, this is definitely the correct call here. This is perfect. If you scout a triple Rex, a Twilight is nice to have, but there's going to be so many bio units that often the charge will not be as great against the high Marine Marauder count that you will be fighting against. I much rather play Robo Bay as well in this situation. I'm glad to see Zoun make a similar call. So the first 2 Phoenixes are still out, third Phoenix is on the way. You don't really want to continuously be building Phoenixes, but you want to fit them in when you have a little bit of gas left over. So you'd probably cut another Phoenix right now, then throw down a Robo Bay, then have another Phoenix, and then get an Observer out, and then another Phoenix. You just kind of sprinkle in Phoenixes whenever money allows it. You don't just build them because your Stargate is idle. That is not how you want to be building Phoenixes in this type of scenario. So we get that Robo Bay. We also start an Observer. Now there is the possibility to warp in here for Zoun. He's not quite sure what his opponent is doing. It's completely viable for ByuN to move out with like Stim, Cyclone, and Combat Shield. He's going to be waiting for these extra, for the extra 2 Medevacs. That's going to make a difference in his attack. I actually do believe that this Robo Bay and this Robo facility are actually maybe a bit too late. I mean, this Robo started at 5 minutes. Usually you want it, or the Robo Bay started at 5 minutes. Usually you want it to start at like 4:40, 4:45. That allows you to get 1 Colossi out pretty comfortably against the first push. In this case though, there is going to be a moment where 1 Colossi isn't quite out yet. And it really gives ByuN a bit of an opportunity. I mean, this is an army that has a lot of DPS. If you open up with Phoenix pre-Colossi, you just don't have that many gateway units. Phoenixes don't fight well against Marines and Marauders either. So without a Colossi, the Protoss army actually kind of sucks. The worker count is extremely high. And the army value will be quite good as well. I mean, there's just going to be a lot of gas invested in this army. Still have that Colossi on the way, another Phoenix as well. And I'm actually a little bit afraid right now for Zoun. This Colossi is still 20-ish seconds away from finishing. If ByuN had stimmed in straight away towards this angle, I think he would have been capable of doing a lot. Right now he's going for an alternate angle. Zoun not quite aware of that, is not in position for the force field on the ramp. We'll lose one Phoenix as well immediately. Colossi will pop out right now. Battery is a bit too far in the back. Left side is completely open. 2 batteries will get sniped down before this fight even starts. Single swipe on these Marines out of the Colossi. Marauders moving forward will start targeting down this Colossi. Colossi taking a lot of damage. Phoenix gets targeted down. Another Phoenix. Ooh, the Colossi also falls. And we see Zoun chasing with these Phoenixes. Need to be careful that he doesn't lose another one. I think this is 4 or 5? 5 Phoenixes and a Colossi lost here in the early game. That is painful. These losses are painful. The fact that there's no upgrade yet for Zoun is also painful. No forge. Already go up to 6 gas. But he is up in supply because he has he still has an Immortal, has a couple of Stalkers out as well. And these Phoenixes are also, once again rebuilding. Thermal Lance halfway done. And it's not starting any forge upgrades yet. It's a little bit surprising. Weird opener here out of Zoun. He is ahead though. And it's mainly because of the worker count, that quick eco boost that he got. Loses another Phoenix. Throws on a couple of cannons. He knows that the only way that he can really lose this game if he dies in the next minute or so, minute and a half. Otherwise he's going to be in a fantastic position. Another Colossi, no Twilight Council. This is just the oddest opener. Continuous Phoenix production out of Zoun as well. Let's get the second Stargate. Okay, so most likely wants to transition into some type of fleet beacon play. Fleet beacon carriers, some anti-impulse crystals on them Phoenixes as well, of course, would be really, really useful to have. I'm not so sure if I like this too much out of Zoun. Don't get me wrong, I think Phoenix, Colossi, Disruptor, Carrier is a very good composition. It's a composition with a lot of potential. It's a composition that can work very well against these powerful late game armies that the Terran has. But it functions in a similar way as mech functions in TVZ, where mech can get quite far ahead in the early game, but you give the Zerg player with so much time to come back into it that the early game damage, I mean, it still matters, but you can't really get a free win out of it. Here, the early game for Zoun was very good. He was up in supply, he had Colossi out, he had anti-air, he had a good way to deal with drops. These are some of the main things that you want to have as a Protoss against Terran. And now he's just giving ByuN a lot of time. ByuN starts building the CC on the fort base location. I think this is the right call. I really do believe this to be the correct call. Enhanced Shockwave, I also don't mind it. Now, these are plays that ByuN is doing right now. It isn't necessarily to kill his opponent, but it is to deny a fort base, and I like that a lot. I think this is good, and this allows ByuN to get back into a game where he perhaps had no business being in. Okay, ByuN is aware of the amount of cannons, throws down 3 more barracks, so wants to go up to 8 racks and a second starport at the same time. Ooh. Okay. Higher worker count as well, so we still saw a couple of workers being produced, up to 72. Another attack here on the fort base, as I mentioned. The purpose of this army isn't to kill, it is to cancel a fort base. I mean, I like those EMPs, but you don't want to attack into a 3-base Protoss that's camping on Phoenix, Colossi, Cannon, Battery. It's just, majority of the time, it's just not going to be a very good trade. A couple of liftoffs here on these Marauders. Disruptor shot might connect with something. No, it won't. These Vikings are trying to get a couple of pot shots off, but they need to be so careful to make sure that they don't just die against these Phoenixes. Phoenixes do not have Anion yet. I wouldn't mind it as an upgrade at this point. I think it would be very helpful, very useful. It's only +1. There's actually no air upgrade here whatsoever for Zoun, which is quite surprising. He does start it now. I wouldn't mind a 5th base here, by the way. I like the fact that we're getting 8 gas and a couple more workers, but A 5th base would be huge, huge, huge. And I know it sounds stupid to get a 5th base if you're already up a base, but when you're playing against a carrier Colossi army, getting extra outside base is really useful. The orbital is the correct call on the 4th base, because you're never really going to get attacked by ground here. Charge lot run-bys will not really be a thing. It would surprise me at least if we see a charge lot run-by. And even if it is a thing, these charge lots are going to be very poorly upgraded against 2-2 Marine Marauder, so it wouldn't even be that good. I like this scan as well here. Making sure there's no army in position, and immediately started immediate cancel here out of Zoun. 4th base is going down at the same time though. So this Zealot will keep this position for now. Yeah, Zoun has a powerful army, but it's also an army that is only a one-time army. Like, this is one fight and one fight only. A couple of turrets should start going down at this point, as ByuN is basically maxed. And doesn't have too much to invest in anymore. Could get a 3rd eBay at this point to get that turret range, the armor for buildings as well, and start throwing down some turrets around the map. You want to cover your 4th, you want to cover your 5th. You see that 5th base being thrown down here, so we have a small engagement. I don't think ByuN actually wants to fight right now. He might want to kind of kite with these Vikings, see if he can get a carrier here or there, almost using them as if they're Vipers in a way, you know? Shooting from a distance, kind of pulling these carriers into your army, shooting them once, then running away, making sure the interceptors can never leave. That is the biggest thing when fighting against carriers, is making sure that the interceptors cannot leave without repercussions. The moment the interceptors leave the carriers and are on top of the Terran army very often is in a bit of trouble. So we have +2 already starting. A lot of chrono boost is being sunk into this. This is a very forward turret position, and I do like that. So rather than just getting a bunch of turrets here and a bunch of turrets here, ByuN now says, he's like, hey, if I just hold this position with turrets, you can never get to this base or to this base. And now he kind of wishes that these 4 turrets were in the middle as well. Big disruptor shots might be hitting though. Good snipes out of ByuN. He's going to get triple disruptors. Needs to be careful though that he doesn't lose too many units. Also, he's very high in the Marauder count. That actually could be a bit of an issue. Especially if you're planning on playing a heavy Liberator style. So usually you use the Liberators to deal with ground. Meaning that the Colossi and Disruptors can move forward. And then behind that, the moment Interceptors come out to try and deal with the Liberators, you have Marines, Ghost, Viking, kind of to deal with anything that comes out in the air. Of course, a bunch of turrets as well. The problem here for ByuN is that his ground army is very large still as well. So he's getting these Liberators, which, don't get me wrong, they'll still be useful. But at the same time, there's 18 Marauders, which will fulfill a similar role as these Liberators do. We see a big EMP hitting right now, turrets in the back. A lot of turrets are not actually in this fight. First Disruptor shot does not really hit. These Phoenixes are not joining in either, but there's just not that many Vikings. There's not that much anti-air currently. 7 more Zealots get warped in. Zoun has a bit of a weird obsession with Zealots in this game. I mean, 13 Zealots are good, but I feel like you're going to be winning in the skies, my friend, and not on the ground. But we'll see, we'll see. 3 Liberators are out, 15 Vikings. I'm not sure if Zoun can just straight up push into this, but there's really hardly any anti-air. There's only 11 Marines, 15 Vikings. If there's no turrets helping here, I mean, 6 carriers and 14 Phoenixes should be capable of dealing with this air army, and well, the 2-3 Colossi that are still alive should definitely be capable of taking out all of these Marines. Here comes Zoun walking up a ramp. There is 1 turret still fighting, but these Liberators are being taken out right now. Marauders kind of move forward. The Liberators already were taking out the Colossi, and this is where we kind of see the uselessness of the Marauders. I mean, they take out the Colossi the moment every single Marine has already died. Now a new wave of Marines comes out, but the Interceptors are still on the map. There's still, what, 35 remaining, 4 more being built at any time. Phoenixes being used as a quick reinforcement tool rather than having to wait for a carrier. You have the quick Phoenix flying across the map, being capable of tanking a couple of shots. Also just shooting down these Vikings in general is of course very, very useful. I think ByuN is just in a world of trouble. This was a game where he should have lost after 5 or 6 minutes just because of how good Zoun's eco was and how bad ByuN's early game was. But he was allowed to come back. Zoun said, hey, I can give you a chance with this carrier Phoenix comp. And it really was unfortunate that there still was so many Marauders in that army. And that there weren't too many turrets in that one position. No turret range upgrade. No armor either on those turrets. All of these things definitely would have helped. And I think that at this point, ByuN is, well, honestly kind of dead. Phoenix is moving forward, starts sniping these Vikings as well. Disruptor shows up, and I mean, these carriers will just take out everything here in the main base. The production will just die the moment it pops. More Phoenixes will move across the map. A 5th base is being taken here. 74 workers for Zoun. +2 attack. He's double forge behind this. He has a really odd way of playing this style, but if it works, it works. To be fair, it was practically impossible to lose this game after the first 6 minutes, but, well, first 7-ish minutes. But it is what it is. GG gets called, and Zoun wins game number 1 here in this best of 3. Alrighty, friends. Game number 2 is being played on Curious Minds. And it is quite curious indeed, as this is one of the worst Protoss maps that is in the map pool. Berlingrad could be considered a little bit worse because it's also very small and maybe some personal preference. But overall, this is not a map where you'd really want to go toe-to-toe with the likes of ByuN on. Like, this is just... It's just not very good. We see a low ground gate. It is being built on 16. We also see a probe on the map. If this is going to be a proxy gate, that would make a lot of sense, honestly. I would not want to go... I would not want to fight head-on on this map against the Terran. I mean, you just have such a large third base concave here. You have this area, so even if you take the line base, you're stuck with having to defend this area, which is really, really difficult. Because the Terran can decide whether he wants to run up the ramp or just make a massive concave here. You're always going to be fighting the biggest Terran concave you've seen in your life, and that just makes the Colossi a lot weaker than it usually is. Second gate also gets thrown down here, so we do have that proxy gate. ByuN is known for not scouting, and if he does not end up scouting here, that would be extremely bad for him. First Marine gets built, double gas build once again out of ByuN. This time though, because it's a Marine first, does allow him to get a really, really fast factory. And this might actually be the best case scenario, because often with a factory this quick, you want to get a high ground CC, or at least that's what he did last time. High ground CC would be fantastic. Did he spot everything? Yeah, he spotted the reactor, and he spotted the barracks as well. And ByuN also is going to scout around with this first Marine, and there's some good potential that he's going to end up finding this. And in that case, well, I'm not saying the game is over, but it's looking very good for him. Okay, well, this is... unfortunate. It's extremely close, right? We're like 1 or 2 like scouting hexes away from seeing it. CC also gets built on the low ground. It's still... Oh, never mind. I was gonna say it's still okay because it's going to be a... I was hoping for a Cyclone first here. A Hellion first makes a lot of sense, but this really is the worst case scenario because the Hellions just don't trade very well against regular gateway units. CC is going to get forced to cancel on the low ground. I mean, there's already an Adept on the way. There's going to be another Adept out over here. Do we have a secondary Chrono Boost? No, we do not yet. So the first Marine will fall. The Stalker will take a crap ton of damage, but I'm not so sure if it's going to get taken out because this Adept also joins in on the fun. Oh, ByuN's taking a lot of damage here. He's going to lose that first Hellion. Second Hellion's also taking a crap ton of damage. Poor control here out of ByuN. We'll lose both cars as the CC is now under a lot of fire. Will get cancelled. And at this point, well, with the Stalker still being alive, there's actually a possibility for Zoun to just break this. He can one-shot these SCVs with this little, or one-volley these SCVs with this little army. Reactors being built. 2 Hellions are out once again. ByuN is trying his best to micro it, but 4 workers have gone down. There's a Nexus practically done. Well, there is a Nexus done on Zoun's side. Another Hellion goes down. Oi, 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 oi. Good control. GG gets called. ByuN is out of here. Down 6 workers, down a base, down in tech, down in absolutely everything as the Adepts manage to shade into the main base. Zoun wins the second game in 3 minutes and 32 seconds. Impressive, but not so weird if we match these build orders against one another and ByuN is completely unaware of what's going on. Perhaps the first 2 cars not microed in an optimal way, but at the end of the day, it was going to get very tricky no matter what. Alright, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.